Yup. Just want to give a shout out to my friend J Mango. What's up? Cutie pie. Yeah, I told you I'd make a video. Shout out to you. Shout out to my friend up in Hawaii. Kobe. Shout out to all my friends here in SAC. My friend Todd right over here. I'm listening to music. Blah blah. Shout out to all my friends all over the world, all the goons. I want to shout out to the MWE crew, Randy, Nas, LP, Carol, Eddie, Pookie, Gertrude at the Crab Shack, everybody. Shout out, shout out, shout out. Shout out to NMC of the YWC. I'm not giving a shout out to the S word. Shout out to the WWE people. Shout out to the TNA people. Shout out to Heaven. Shout out to everybody around the world. And if you're donating to help Japan, shout out to you too on YouTube, because that's what this is. This is D-Xtreme Shout-Out on YouTube to YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to Cutie Pie by One Way, and all I gotta say is also shout out and thank you to the people who were a part of the making of one of the greatest shows ever, New York Undercover. Shout out to Malik Yoba. Shout out to Michael De Lorenzo. Shout out, and rest in peace, Nate Dogg. Rest in peace to what was that comic's name? The comic. Dwayne McDuffie. Shout out to his family. Rest in peace. He was a great guy. Did a great story. I got Crisis on 2 Earths. Shout out. But purpose I made this video. Oh, shout out to Carmen. Shout out to Elena. Shout out. Shout out to Mo, even though you treated me like a jerk the other day. What's your problem? Shout out to Christina Yobin up in LA, next to who lives near my cousin. Shout out, man, just shout out. Shout out to Shay from Sheldon. Shout out to Crystal from Sheldon. Shout out to Bobby Brooks from Sheldon. Shout out. Give me somebody to shout out to, Todd. Anybody. Shout out.
Jeff Johns.
Shout out to Jeff Johns. Shout out to Chris from Metropolis Comics. Shout out to Jim from Metropolis Comics. Anybody else?
Matt.
Shout out to Matt from Metropolis Comics. Shout out to Johnny Young Bosch and iShine. Shout out. Shout out to Todd's family for letting me be here right now. I'm visiting. Shout out. So, shout out to my mom's back at home. I'm coming. Shout out to Taco Bell. I'm about to go eat there. Shout out to Wendy's. I ate there earlier. Shout out to that dog, even though it's annoying. Shout out. You know, 10 times shout out to everybody. Shout out to my grandma up in heaven. Shout out to my grandpa up in heaven. My great grandma Ray, who died last year. Shout out. All I gotta say, shout out. So, yeah, shout out. And if you respond with the shout out video, thank you. Oh, if I forgot to say shout out to somebody, let me know. I don't want to be rude. To the girls, peace to the guys, and double stone colds to the haters. Bye.